Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Coach Kelly Wells Show as we come to you live from Buffalo Wild Wings in Pikeville. It's presented by Appalachian Wireless. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight. You'll have a chance to meet a couple of the current Bears players, and, of course, we'll talk about one of the newest Bears, a recent signee, one of our high school players that has signed the dotted line and will be on campus at U-Pike. Still doing big things for his high school team. Also, we'll take a look at last week's highlights and a look ahead at the games coming up at Georgetown tomorrow night and Shawnee State on Saturday. Joined by your head coach, Coach Kelly Wells of the University of Pikeville Bears. And, Coach, it's always tough to come back, do a show, coming off a tough game on the road. Your team took a loss, lowest output of the year. How do you explain your team's lack of offensive performance?
Well, there's two things you get from losing. One of those is learning. You know,
Yes.
we had a lot of learning that went on, and we did a lot of good things. Got off to a great start. Actually, we're up 12 in the first 10 minutes of the
Sure.
game, and those were positives. Once we couldn't find the basket, and we shot 28% from the field and 11% from the three, and sometimes just when you don't score it, it just kind of takes everything away from you. It deflated our defense. It deflated our rebounding, our energy. Just really affects your whole game, and you know, we didn't deserve to win that game. You know, hats off to Cumberland's, but you know, that's a game we mark on our calendar for senior night at our place that we hopefully will respond a little bit better.
One of your worst shooting nights of the year. When you've been a player, you've coached at many different levels, and you've seen teams go through those struggles. At what point does it become a mental block for shooters that they start to press too much? They start worrying about whether the next shot will go in.
Yeah, that's part of it, but I think the biggest part of it just affects your whole persona. It affects everything about you, and you know, it works the other way too. When you see that ball go through the basket a couple times,
Sure.
Your confidence raises, your energy levels a little bit better, and I think for 30 minutes of that, it just wears you out after a little bit. And you know, it wasn't like we weren't getting good shots. We forced a couple, but it wasn't like we weren't getting good shots. We got shots at the rim. We just couldn't finish them. It just was one of those nights where we didn't have all the juice in the tank, and we had a good learning experience. Hopefully it'll be something that we can gain a lot from and refocus our group, and we got our work cut out for us on Thursday, and certainly our guys are excited about that opportunity.
A tough stretch on the Mid-South Conference schedule. 5 games on the road consecutively, and you're 2-1 midway through. You go to Georgetown, you go to Shawnee State. We'll preview those coming up, and we'll meet a couple of your players tonight as well. Looking forward to that. But right now, let's take a look at those highlights. Let's take a look at Cumberland's last week.
Well, there wasn't a ton of highlights, but you can see right here, you know, we're getting some of our dribble motion. We've got some good spacing, some good ball movement. A lot of it's probing, looking around. Here's Jordan, does a great job of kickback and finding the open three with some good spacing, and we got to continue to have that out of him. And here we are, some more of our half-court offensive stuff, and we went to the wrong side on this play to try to get it started, but we've still continued to move. Mike's got to continue to be a good force for us on the middle, and he had a great start to the game, and he's got to continue to produce for us as a senior, and there he has a nice move to his strong hand and gave us a presence on the inside, especially early in the game. He was very dialed in and very good. And here's some more half-court offense coming off some ball screen action, and we got to get Clint going a little bit better. You know, people are just locking up on him and going out of help and trying to find him, and plays like this will help. You know, Darian driving to the basket and R.J. Freeman with a putback, and we've got to continue to add that aspect to our offense, and that's offensive rebounding. Here, Arze, you'll get a chance to talk to here in a little while with some more of our half-court offense, coming with some dribble driving. What an awesome move by Darian Leslie, and certainly he's one of the guys we've got to have continue to play strong for us, and he will continue to do that. But here's some work from Dana Afiaki on the glass, and you know, he's got to continue to produce plays of that nature, and that's hustle plays and that's rebounding, and certainly on that play he did an awesome job. Transition-wise, some dribble handoff stuff that we like to do out of our break series, and great screen coming up from Marshall, and then again Darian Leslie getting to the basket and getting the reward by getting to the free throw line. We were unfortunate at the free throw line. We didn't shoot it very well there either in that game, and was just another avenue that we didn't perform at the highest level. But again, here's another one of our half-court sets where we get some good action, some good movement coming, great penetration, dribble penetration, and here's Jordan with another great shot from the perimeter, and he's just continuing to develop. You'll get a chance to talk to him and kind of have an opportunity to kind of get where his head's at. And what a wonderful young man. I think all of West Liberty will be listening tonight and watching. So we're excited about getting him on the air with you.
A great local player. Anytime that we have one from the mountains, the community seems to adopt them very quickly, and he's one of those guys. Reminds us of a few former Bears that have come from mountain schools as well. Played very well here at the University of Pikeville. Just proud sons of the mountains. We'll talk with him, and you'll have a chance to meet another Bear. Also, coming up tonight, we'll ask the coach. We've got a couple of questions that have been delivered. We'll ask the coach some things that you've been wondering. Coach Kelly Wells will answer those questions, and, of course, we'll have a preview of the Georgetown Tigers. Tomorrow night, we'll have complete coverage beginning at 7:45 on Z1075, your official home for UPike Athletics. We'll get a break. We'll step out. We'll be rejoined by one of the Bears players next. It's the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We are live from Buffalo Wild Wings. Welcome back to Buffalo Wild Wings at Pikeville. It's the Coach Kelly Wells Show as we talk UPike basketball. We'll be rejoined by the coach in just a few minutes, and we'll have a preview of Georgetown coming up Thursday night, and then the Bears at Shawnee State on Saturday. Right now we'll be joined by a member of this current Bears roster. How about the 6-foot junior out of Winchester, Virginia, Arzay Culbreth joins us now. Welcome in.
How's it going?
Let's talk about the student, Arzay, before we talk about the basketball player. We've seen the basketball player. We don't get to follow you to class. Let's talk about what your major is and what you want to do in the future.
My major is business. I'm trying to do something around business, something around there, maybe work around like something around business, honestly.
Very good. And, of course, you come to the University of Pikeville. Let's talk about your basketball days. Everybody's got a high school story to tell. Tell us your high school background.
I went to Millbrook High School. It's in Winchester, Virginia, small town. Yeah.
And where did you go straight from high school?
After high school, I went to prep school. I went to prep school in Baltimore, called Mount Zion Prep School.
What was that like? Prep school in Baltimore, much different city than Winchester, Virginia. I've been to both.
It's definitely a different place to live at. Just everything, just the atmosphere of living in Baltimore.
And then your playing career continues, and you're at the University of Pikeville. Not too far removed from Winchester, Virginia, small town as well.
Yeah.
What was the culture adjustment like for you arriving here at the University of Pikeville?
Well, actually, after prep school, I went to Garrett College. So Garrett College is kind of similar to, I would say, Pikeville. It's a small town, good people. So,
how did you first learn about the University of Pikeville?
Got in contact with Coach. Honestly, I never heard of Pikeville before.
Sure, a lot of people haven't.
It's definitely a different place, but.
Studying business and looking to do that in your future, and of course the Bears team. You've got some basketball goals this year as well. Obviously, you play at this high level, and getting your college education as well. Someone was an influence in your life growing up, and something turned on the light bulb. You realized, I can do this at the next level. Talk about someone that made a difference in your basketball
Definitely
career.
my parents. My dad's a big basketball fan, sports fan. He's been my coach since I was little. He just pushed me everything. Also my mom, like, she's always there supporting every game, cheering for everybody. So she just made a difference.
So he's been your coach. Every game you come home and he's got pointers, what you did wrong, what you did right.
Yeah.
How many times have you guys had practice in the driveway?
Many times.
Yeah, have you ever played him one-on-one?
Yeah, I win every time.
When's the last time you played one-on-one?
With my with Dad?
Yeah.
I say 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So he's backed off.
Yeah, a little bit. He backed off a little bit.
We get a little age on us. We tend to do that. I'm going to make a prediction. Next time he plays you, he's got you. He's going to take you.
Everyone has to have confidence.
That's right. Arzay, thanks for being with us. Good luck tomorrow night at Georgetown and then on at Shawnee State and the rest of the season as well. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Arzay Culbreth, 6-foot junior out of Winchester, Virginia, our guest. Will return, and you'll meet the kid from West Liberty, Jordan Perry, next on the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in. It's the Kelly Wells Show, where we talk U-Pike basketball every week at this time, live from Buffalo Wild Wings in Pikeville. And we'll be rejoined by the coach in just a few moments. We'll preview the University of Pikeville's matchup with Georgetown coming up tomorrow night, and then on the road at Shawnee State as the Bears look to wrap up a 5-game Mid-South Conference road trip. Joined by another one of the Bears players now, the kid, as I said, heading to the break. He's not a kid. He's a 6'3 freshman, though, and he's one of our mountain guys, Jordan Perry, out of Morgan County High School. Jordan, welcome to the Kelly Wells Show.
Thank you.
I don't know if you had a chance, as I was talking with Coach Wells before, but it seems anytime we have a mountain player that becomes a part of the U-Pike family, and we've seen them in their high school career and continue their success at the college level here at U-Pike, the community seems to adopt those kids much sooner. We know you've got a great following in Morgan County, but that following, you've got a second family here as well. I don't know if you realize that or not.
Yeah, I know. The last few games the home games I've been starting, when they call my name, I can just hear everybody, and yeah, it's pretty great.
6'3 freshman, you've made a quick adjustment to the basketball court. We'll talk about that. But let's talk about the classroom. Let's talk about what your major is and what you plan to do in the future.
My major is in accounting, and right now I don't have a set on what I want to do or what I want to be, but just something in that field.
Very good. And, of course, a strong business program at the University of Pikeville. Talk about that, the adjustment to college classes from high school. What's that like after you've now successfully completed the first semester?
Yeah, compared to high school, it's a lot different. My classes are more spread out, and like in high school, I didn't really have to study as much, and then now I do. But I've adjusted pretty well, and I think I like it a lot.
How do you manage the time demands of being a college athlete? A lot of practice time. You spend time on the road, traveling now heavy into the schedule, and balancing class time, study time. How do you balance that? How do you find a way to balance that? High school, it's a little different.
Yeah, just in your spare time where you don't have much, with basketball where you always practice stuff, just in your spare time you have to study, do quizzes and all that, just whenever you can.
Take your books with you on the road.
Yeah, definitely.
You've been on the road for the last 3 games in the Mid-South Conference, so I would imagine a lot of study time on those buses. Not just the adjustment to classes, though, but the game. You were a high school standout at Morgan County. Many of us saw you play many times, and you were one of those kids that we knew early in your career that you were a special player. But the adjustment to the college game, the Mid-South Conference, it's quite an adjustment for some. It seems to have come to you a little quicker than it does others.
Yeah, I know. Like it's a big difference. The physicality from high school to college is significant, and it took me a few games to get adjusted. But I think now we're 20-some games in. It's kind of clicking for me, and to the help of my coaches and teammates.
Many players will say when you go to the next level, things are extremely fast, and they have to slow down in your mind, whether it's going from junior high to being a freshman, playing JV, going to the varsity, going from high school to college, whatever the case may be. The game has to slow down before you feel comfortable and you feel in your game. Are you there?
I'm still adjusting each game. I'm just trying to get better. But the first few games I was struggling, and they just told me to quit stressing and just be myself. And with the help of my teammates, they picked me up when I was down, and it helped a lot.
What's been the biggest surprise playing college basketball? Something that truly you were shocked by, you didn't expect, that was different, either positive or negative?
Probably the biggest thing is probably the physicality. I knew it was coming in, it was going to be physical, but I didn't realize, like the Mid-South Conference, how physical it actually was.
Sure. And it is indeed. Jordan, when you go back to Morgan County, you visit West Liberty, and you're talking to some of your former teammates, maybe that are still playing, and they have aspirations to play at the next level. What's some advice you would give them? What's something you would tell them about college basketball that they need to prepare for?
Just work as hard as they can and don't take any days off.
Very good.
It's a big thing, yeah.
Great advice, not just basketball, but life in general.
Yes, sir.
Jordan Perry, 6'3", freshman out of West Liberty. He's one of ours. Jordan, we want to wish you the best of luck this weekend, the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Have a great career at UPike. We'll talk
Appreciate
again.
it.
Jordan Perry, our guest on the Kelly Wells Show. We'll take a break and be rejoined by the coach. Coming up next, it's presented by Appalachian Wireless, live from Buffalo Wild Wings. Welcome back in. It's the Coach Kelly Wells Show coming to you live from Buffalo Wild Wings in Pikeville. We're talking UPike basketball. The Bears currently 10th in the country, 18-4, 4-3 in the Mid-South Conference, and, of course, coming off a loss at Cumberland's on Saturday. On the road at Georgetown on Thursday. And, Coach, it's always one of those games that is circled on the calendar. Pikeville and Georgetown, it's a long-time rivalry. You played them back the end of November. It seems like forever ago. And, of course, a 10-point loss here. Your team's different than they were at the end of November. I would imagine they are as well. How do you prepare?
Yeah, totally different. There's really very little that we use other than reference points from our first game. They've added 2 players. Since then, we've added a player. I felt like we've continued to grow as a team. We had one little hiccup there, and they've continued to be great. I mean, they've only lost 1 game overall, none in the conference. So it's an uphill climb for us, but I think our guys are going in very confident. We know what we're capable of. We've seen it. We have evidence of how good we can be. And we also now have some markers we need to stay away from. And I think our guys are smart enough to figure that out. It's going to be a tough environment. It's going to be packed on a Thursday night. A lot at stake for us and for them. So we're excited about the opportunity. And, you know, the greater the challenge, the bigger the opportunity. And we have an opportunity to make some noise.
You've got some guys that are new to this Bears program that maybe haven't experienced what some of these places are like on the road in the Mid-South Conference. Georgetown is certainly one of those schools that the fans are right up on you. The student body comes out, and they'll be there for Pikeville, Georgetown because we come out for Pikeville, Georgetown here. How do you prepare your players that have never experienced that for what they're going to experience Thursday night?
Well, we try to reference it with a lot of different things. You know, some of our players that have been through the program for several years get an opportunity. We have many of our staff members have played in that game, so they can send it off. You don't really, until they get in there and call you everything but your real name, you don't settle in. And,
players, coaches, and broadcasters alike.
You got equal opportunity, no question about it. But, you know, as a player, as a coach, you know, those are the games you just live for. You know, the games that you come in, nobody's watching, nobody cares about. Those are the ones that are hard to get motivated for. These are the ones you scratch and claw and can't wait to get out there. And a lot of times it brings out the best in yourself. It brings out the best in your team. And hopefully we'll do that.
You had a recent signing this week. I saw the picture. Mason Blair, currently at Johnson Central, on his way possibly to break some state records. Broke Johnson Central's single game record this past week, and Johnson Central's all-time leading scorer now. He'll be joining the Bears next season. Talk about that signing now that we can a little bit, now that he's on the dotted line.
Yeah, we've watched Mason for a long time, and I tell you some of the characteristics that we loved about him was, one, you know, his work ethic is off the charts. He traveled from coast to coast to play in the summertime. He works every day on his game. That he just fits our core values. He fits what we try to do. So we're thankful for him and his family in so many different aspects.
Very good. Coach, we've got a segment on tonight's show that we haven't done before, and it's Ask the Coach. I've had some people that have submitted some questions, and they wanted to ask Coach Kelly Wells, if there were a junior high player out there, a high school player who had dreams of playing at the next level, what does Coach Kelly Wells tell those players?
Well, it's really not what I tell them. It's what they do. You know, it's activity. You know, it's repetition. Everybody has to have fundamentals. You know, and I think a lot of times our generation says just go out and play.
Sure.
Don't work on free throws, don't work on your offhand, don't work on good form. And I think those are critical pieces to development. I've got a son that's 10 years old right now, and we're going through those phases with him, and he wants to go to the gym and just shoot and mess around. And, there's time for that, and there's a place to love the game. And I think that's critical to fall in love with the game. And once you fall in love with it, then you're receptive to coaching, and you just can't replace fundamentals. And those people, you see them every day, the kids that just go out to the gym and just fire it up versus the kids that really work on their game and develop.
And, of course, you've been successful on the high school level, winning the ultimate prize in Kentucky. Same here at the University of Pikeville with the national championship. The question that was asked, would you ever go back to coach high school?
Nobody knows your future, and I'm a big believer that God puts us where we're supposed to be when we're supposed to be there. And if, the plan for me is to go back to a high school level, I could certainly do that. I love kids. I love, developing those relationships. And I do honestly miss the tight-knit, close group of having a school and a community that comes to all your games. And, it really means something to the pride and the tradition, and everybody is on board, where college is a little different. It's transient, and there's people that come and go, and you fall in love with your school just alike. But, I do miss those kind of just all-in type relationships with kids in a school and a community.
Absolutely. And, of course, they each have their unique things, but which one's most fun?
Winning.
Yeah.
Whether that's at the high school
Doesn't
level or the
matter what
college,
level,
it is. And winning for me is defined a lot of different ways. Watching kids from the high school level compete on the college level, that's winning. Seeing guys graduate and get married at the college level is a great thing. Watching them go get careers and make money playing the game they love to do. And, I still get those phone calls from those high school kids and tell me that, I've had a child, I've done these kind of things.
Yeah.
And those are the coaching paychecks that I look forward to. And coaching basketball, I could do it and I do it. My 10-year-old AAU son, that's rewarding to me as well. So as long as they've got a basketball and they're receptive and they're good kids and they're listening, I can do that probably at any level.
And guys like you, because I've been around you for a lot of time now, relationships are as much fun as the games are for you.
It's got to be more than winning and losing.
Right.
I mean, we can't be judged upon just winning and losing, because your self-esteem is too important and too valuable, and it's too tough a job. Developing, watching kids improve, and the rewards that come after that are the real rewards we get from coaching.
Coach Kelly Wells, let's get a win on the road at Georgetown tomorrow night and another at Shawnee, and then come home next week.
We're going to put all our chips in the hat and do as good as we can do.
It's Coach Kelly Wells, head coach of your number 10 ranked Bears, 18-4 on the road at Georgetown. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. tip-off. We'll have coverage at 7:45 on Z1075. You've been tuned to the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless.